Hi there, let's get ready together today. I'm wearing my blue scrub, so that means I can go pretty neutral with my makeup. So let's start with our eyeshadow primer. This is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. This is the OG of the eyeshadow primer, still very popular because it's really good. It is kind of on the more liquidy side, but it dries down really fast, and then I feel like it just makes eyeshadows go over it pretty smooth. We're going to use the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow, or I'm sorry, under eye corrector today. And I have to find my brush. I don't know about y'all, but I'm having a Monday. We're going to use our BK brushes this week. So this is the A506, and I'm taking just a little bit of this and putting it just where I have most of the darkness under my eyes. A very thin layer of it. The difference is subtle, but I think that it helps me to use less, I can't think of words today, less of this stuff, concealer. So for primer, face primer, let's use this Milk makeup primer. This is pretty innovative. It comes out like a foam, like you would think that this would be hair mousse, and then you just put it on your face, and pretty soon it turns into a more liquidy texture. I already have my skincare on, so I'm pretty moisturized, but I feel like this is ideal for people with dry skin. So we're going to let that settle in a little bit before we put our foundation on. And let's go ahead and go into concealer. This is the Laura Mercier concealer. I always put the names and shades of the products down here for you. This is what the wand looks like. It's not a wand. The doe foot applicator looks like. Just a little bit here where the worst of the brown discoloration is. And again, we're going to use the BK concealer brush. This Laura Mercier concealer, I feel like it's good as long as you use thin layers and powder very lightly. Otherwise, it can get kind of heavy looking. For foundation, we're going to use the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is one of my favorites in my collection. This is what it looks like. It's a little bit more on the watery side. And I don't have any spots really that I feel like I need to conceal, so foundation should do it all. We're going to use our BK 101 foundation brush this week. This brush is a little bit larger than the Anissa brush that I love so much. I feel like it is very effective, and because it's a little bit larger, I feel like it really gets everything blended in pretty quickly. So if you're in a hurry, you just know that you can just reach for this and do a pretty quick application. And you see how beautiful this foundation is on my face? It's not glowy in the sense that it's greasy looking on your face. I feel like it's just really helpful. For cream bronzer today, we're going to use our NARS cream bronzer. This is an OG favorite of so many people. Going in with my trusty Zoeva brush for this, and you'll be able to see that this you can use light layers with this because it doesn't give you intense pigment right off the bat. For cream brush, we're going to use brush. I get those confused. The LYS Cream Blush, and we're going to use a Zoeva brush with that. The LYS cream blushes are very pigmented right off the bat. So I just go in with a couple of taps into the product, and I can use it for both cheeks. Before I come to you with these products, I always use them preferably 2 or 3 days in a row, because when you have a collection of products, you tend to kind of forget a little bit how they perform. For our loose powder today, House Labs loose powder, this is what it looks like in the net. I'm just going to use a small brush today in lieu of my Beauty Blender Puff. Since this House Labs has the net, it's kind of difficult. I may kind of cut out this net so that I can use it with my Beauty Blender as well. I'm also going to use this House Labs in areas where generally throughout the day I'm going to get more shiny. For the pressed powder, we're going to use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake. This is a little bit hard panned. I got to fix that. This has a little bit of a pink shade to it. And the Huda Beauty Loose Powder is my all-time fave. This Huda Beauty Press Powder, on the other hand, is just middle of the pack. For powder bronzer, we're going to use this Makeup by Mario product. This is kind of an ombre situation. When I first got this, I didn't really know what to do with it, and the directions weren't really that clear either, but after using it, I determined that for me, it's a bronzer. I swirl it into all of the shades because the top shade is a little glowy, so that way you get a little bit of an extra glow on those days that you want it. So that gives me a very diffused bronze look. We're going to be a little bit of extra today and use a highlighter. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter. This is a newer product. It's a very pretty gold shade. Going to use a Morphe and Ariel brush. Get some of this on. Sweep it up here, around here, a little on my, or under my eyebrow. And on those days where you just feel like glowing a little bit more, there you go. And for blush, we're going to use a Gucci blush. The packaging is so stunning. It's very heavy, it's weighty, and I love the blush inside as well. Is this the only Gucci product I have? I think it is. Yes. Yes, I have a few luxury products, but you have to really save up and plan for those. This is a more buildable blush, but you can see with that second layer, it builds up really well. This is a unique color to my collection. That's why I decided to go with this color. I said if I'm going to get a Gucci blush, it's going to be something that's going to be really unique and add something to my overall complexion. I like to use my highlighter before my blush because then I kind of use my blush brush to kind of blend everything and mesh it together one more time. Going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Eyebrow Gel. Get those brows fluffed up, at least temporarily. Fill them in just a second. We're going to use a Give Beauty lip combo today. You have the product on one end and a brush on the other end that you can blend your liner out. This is pretty unusual for a lip liner. You can see it a little bit better there. So there is a little bit of a learning curve to it. But I find that if you want to do a thicker line or even fill in with it, you can do it easier with this color. This is not too much darker than my natural lip color. On the daily, that's what I prefer. Because as your lip products wear off, there's not such a stark contrast with your liner. We're going to use a Give lipstick. This one, from the moment I got it, it wiggles around in the tube. Isn't this packaging really pretty? So I only put it up a little bit. But I love this color so much that I keep it in my collection. And we're going to use a Give Beauty lip gloss. Some people think this is a little too goopy and sticky. I think it gives a beautiful shine. I think it feels fantastic personally. I love the way it smells like a cupcake. Now, the boring stuff. Let's do brows. I may fast forward through this, but I want you to see the Win Beauty brow pencil. And for my tinted brow gel, I'm going to use the Sephora. I really like this because the brush is super tiny. I start mid-brow and then I fluff them up. See the difference there when I use an eyebrow gel that's tinted? Again, I start mid-brow. Eyebrows are done. Now we can do some really fun stuff. Whenever I just want to use one of my single shadow glitters, sorry for that rocking, I use my neutral matte palettes. So I'd like to show you 4 of them that I have in my collection. The first one is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3 palette. This comes out every fall. And this, was his all matte palette. Cool tones here, warm tones here, cream shadows here. You can use these under a glitter or sparkle shadow, or you can use them as the base to a powder eyeliner. And I love to use these to highlight my brows, so sometimes I go into these even when I'm not using this for anything else. Next we have the Mario palette. This is one of them, and this is the warmer version that came out. So again, depending on the single shadow that I have, if I want to, I can get a warmer shadow from there. This is the other Makeup by Mario palette, and this is the cooler version. My favorite shades are these 2 right here. These darker ones are really nice for more dramatic looks when you just need to reach for something matte. And my last one is the Pat McGrath. This is from, I think, a Valentine's collection here last year maybe. So this is an all matte palette as well. And I think this is the only all matte palette she's done to date. These shadows are super pigmented. And not only do you have warms and then you have a little cooler, but you also have your mauves and pinks here if you just need to grab that kind of a look. Today I'm going to use the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3 palette. And first I'm going to use a super fluffy brush. This is a Refer 27. And I'm going to go into this bone color shade right here. And I'm going to use this right here under my brow to highlight it. This is a very subtle difference. You might not even really be able to see it on camera, but those little differences just, they make a big difference in the end. So let's grab a Refer 15 now, and I'm going to go into this warmer shade here. A lot of times when I use this palette, I use the cooler shades. So today, I thought, let's do warm. And you can see immediate pigment, and this is so smooth. There's no patchiness. It just feels so luxe and high quality, and you would expect nothing less from Patrick Ta. And I'm putting some of this all over my lid as well. I'm using this shade right here on a Refer 13 Max to deepen up the outer corner here. I pat this down where I want it first, and then I start spreading it around a little bit lower in the crease. But I really want it concentrated here in the outer corner. And you can see that I have kind of loose skin on my upper eyelids. And in spite of that, this Patrick Ta eyeshadow blends beautifully over them. And I really appreciate that. So at this point, we can see where the eyeshadow starts and stops. So we're going to take our original brush with nothing else on it, and we're going to start to blend. I want there to be lightest to darkest, but I want it to look like it's naturally just one into the other, into the other. So can you see the difference between these two? You can still see some darkness, but you can't see where the one shadow starts and the other shadow stops. That looks good. We're ready for our single shadow shimmer now, and that's going to be the Urban Decay Moon Dust in the shade Space Cowboy. Oldie but a goodie. All right, so I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to just start dabbing this from the very inner corner here all the way out to where that dark color starts. I don't know if you can see just how beautiful this is. A lot of content creators say cameras just don't do it justice, and that is so true. Once you start making videos, you want so badly for your subscribers and your audience to be able to see the beauty of some of these products, but I just don't think that it can be done, even with the best cameras, unfortunately. So there's our Urban Decay. For eyeliner, we're actually going to use blue in the waterline today. This Makeup by Mario has a brush on one end so that you can blend this out. And then here's the navy blue. I'm going to put this in my upper and lower waterlines. I am using the Patrick Ta Cream eyeshadow to make myself a little eyeliner here on the top. I had to go off camera and work a little bit more on this complexion. This is one of the worst complexion days that I've had in recent memory. I'm taking a powder shadow now from Patrick Ta to set this cream. I was taking a closer look at my under eyes, and they looked fine before I set them. And I don't think you'll be able to see on camera. Look at that, how bad that looks under my eye. And then around here looked really horrible, and I kind of just had to go back and fix a few things there. So not off to the best Monday start of the day. I'm going to use a little bit of just leftover concealer. This is again my BK A506 concealer brush. And at this point I'm like, what do I have to lose? It's just not good. For setting spray, we're going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. I believe this is my favorite high-end setting spray. I'm going to take a blender now, and again just try to go over some of these trouble spots and blend everything together a little bit better. All right, that's as good as it's going to get. Sometimes that's how it is. For mascara, we're going to use the Give mascara. I'm going to go off camera and apply this, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is the finished look. I'm not going to put any mascara on my lower lashes today. Every so often my eyes just get irritated and they get teary, which they've done today because I've been messing with them so much. So this is our finished look today. I hope you enjoyed this. I believe our next video is going to be the fall palette video. Stay tuned for that.